All right. Okay. Thank you everybody so much for joining me today. This is Tiffany from Eco Health Wellness Center and Detox Spa. I'm so excited today that I have a patient that is going to do a testimony, and what a ride that he has been on this past year. So I want to thank Jackie and Carson. Carson has been my patient, and Jackie's here just to kind of tune in and help tell us his story. So Jackie, I guess first, how did you first hear about me, and like what was Carson experiencing for you to call and want to make an appointment?
Well, we were pretty desperate, and we had been to 38 specialists actually across the course of the last couple of years. But specifically, Carson had gotten to a point where they just had no answers. We were told by a pain specialist that he was going to have to deal with this for the rest of his life. And it really looked like that, except, for our prayers. It was just very, very desperate. He had been bedridden and on homebound for most of a year. And actually it was 21 months total that he was bedridden for the most part. And we had just moved, and it was just a desperate time for us.
So Carson, tell people, what symptoms were you having? Why were you in the bed? Why couldn't you get out of bed and go to school? And what was going on?
Well, what it was is that every morning and really all the time in the day, for most of the time in a day, my stomach would be cramping and I'd have really, really bad stomach pains to where I just want to be laying down and hopefully being asleep, or it'd be a lot worse of a time with my stomach not feeling good at all.
Yeah, and were you kind of nauseous?
Yeah, a little bit.
What kind of foods were you eating?
All types of not good foods for me. Any type of bread or dairy or cheese or something of that sort.
Well, and we were told to that one of the things that would bypass the IBS or whatever they were thinking it was goldfish. And so he would just, it was one thing that didn't seem to hurt his stomach. And then he had lost 35 pounds and he didn't have pounds to spare. So they were putting him on boost, like 4 boosts a day. And of course we had no idea that we were actually perpetuating the problem.
So I remember it was like a combination of goldfish and Miralax and Boost, pretty much is what the doctors had told you to do. And you weren't getting any better, right, Carson?
Right. I was not getting better.
No, when we came to you, it was at the worst.
Yeah. And I just mentioned he had been hospitalized in two children's hospitals, right?
Yes.
And
for 2 weeks
at a time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and he was on so much medicine. That's the other thing I'm really grateful for, getting ahead a little bit. But he was on so many medicines that 2 of them have been recalled. Like he wouldn't even be able to be on them before, but if he missed one day of them, he was out for the count. He would be in, more thoroughly in bed for a week. Mm-hmm. Couldn't do any of the sports that he loved, just couldn't get to church, couldn't do a thing.
Let's fast forward a little bit. So just to let my listeners know, Carson did do my 12-week program. He actually traveled from out of town. They don't live here in Charleston. So we did everything over the phone. This is actually our first Zoom. Is this our first Zoom? I think we did one other video conference or 2.
At the very beginning, yeah.
Yeah. So they did come in for the initial, and I was concerned. Carson had lost a lot of weight, but he did the program. We did some testing. We really peeled back a lot of layers. We discovered he had some underlying gut issues and sensitivities to some foods. We did some cleansing. He took some supplements. He changed his diet. He did some smoothies. We won't get into the detail of all of that, but tell us where you are at now.
I am now, well, I'm playing basketball, doing a bunch of activities that I used to be able to do before my stomach got real bad.
Yeah. And where did you go last month?
I went to Washington State, traveled all the way across the country, and was able to climb mountains and be there for a month without feeling any pain.
Oh, he was
Just
literally
great.
skipping up mountains.
Yeah.
I mean, 8-mile hikes,
So where
as opposed to being in bed.
Where do you think you would be if you wouldn't have made the drastic decision to kind of come, step outside? Uh-oh, what happened to there we go. If you would not have kind of stepped outside the box and done things differently, where do you think where y'all would be right now, like with his health?
Probably still bedridden, honestly. I don't know if it would have gotten any better at all.
I know. So,
I actually can say that I know it wouldn't have, because we would be off 2 medicines that were kind of keeping him just even borderline okay. He wasn't okay. And just on a medicine level, those had been recalled. I don't even want to think. I really, the thing is, the time we spent in the hospital wasn't really answering things either. So I can't really say he'd be in a hospital, but I guess he would be.
yeah. So Carson, would you say what we did and how we got you better? Like, was it hard, or do you, what on a scale of 1 to 10?
I wouldn't say necessarily hard is the right word, but you have to have a lot of.
I would.
You have to have a lot of dedication and be really committed to what you're going, to what the plan is.
That's right.
If you're not committed, then it won't work.
That is exactly 100%, especially with foods and especially taking the supplements to get the inflammation under control, to get the, to get the immune system kind of, building that immune system up and healing the gut. And we also had to get rid of some underlying bacterial bugs. So yeah, you had to be very persistent with a lot of the things, but now how you feel, with when you're better. And then you've eaten, come off the diet some, and you've experienced, what it feels like when you eat the wrong things, right?
Yes, for sure.
Well, and the diet, I mean, it's been hard work. We had to, change the way we cooked entirely. We had to change where we go. We had to change, we had to learn a whole, system with shakes, but, and it hasn't been cheap, but it has been by far the best money we've ever spent in our entire life.
That's
like, what I want to say honestly is that, we are people of faith, and we prayed and believed, that there was an answer. But really, what I want to say is thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
You all go the extra mile to make sure that our questions are answered, so that we actually understand what's happening. Mm-hmm. And that was so helpful. Wasn't that so helpful? I mean, it was more than just telling us, do this, do that. And as it's been a process, you guys have just helped us with questions along the way. And you are an absolute godsend.
Oh, well, I am so happy to have been on this journey with you and Carson. And just too, I mean, this is, I always say there's a silver lining to all of this, because with Carson's health issues and all the diet changes that y'all made in your family, like Jackie mentioned what's happened to you.
Oh, well, I went on the diet with Carson because I thought, okay, this is a handful. If he's going to do it, he needs some company.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I was going to have a hysterectomy because they found fibroids. Mm-hmm. And long and short, going off of,
Uh-oh, I lost you there for a second. Hopefully you'll come back.
We needed to do. Oh, there we are. Yep. The things that you had said we needed to do ended up bypassing the hysterectomy. I have no symptoms. I'm back down to my college weight. I've lost 40 pounds. I've got energy again. We thought that, you know, getting older was kind of part of just, this is what it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, well, and now the whole family is on a weight loss, you know, trend. And really, it's been an intervention for our whole family.
Yeah. Well, and not necessarily a weight loss trend. I mean, you just naturally dropped the weight because you were making healthy choices.
Oh,
Eating
I say to people, I accidentally
yeah.
lost weight for the first time in my life, but also like I had numbness in my fingers
Mm-hmm.
and I had arthritis in my toes. It's gone. I mean, it's just entirely gone.
Yeah.
So again,
so great.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. It's been a joy. So Carson, last thing here that I just want to ask you, if you could go back in time, you know, a year or two ago and give somebody like yourself, you know, that had the symptoms that you did with the chronic GI pain, you know, if you could give them some advice, what would you tell them?
To go to you first of all, but after I go to you, to trust the process.
Trust the process. I told you that a lot, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah, because
He
there's
said to trust you from the very beginning.
I know.
Because honestly, he did not think it would work.
Yeah. Well,
and I understood why he wouldn't. And
you know,
understood why he wouldn't.
And it's tough too, especially for kids and, you know, high school and, you know, it's changing the diet. It's different, but I kept promising him, I said, if you just do this, and we worked week by week, and you just started to see those little improvements and those little improvements. And then I'll never forget the one day you're like, I haven't had any pain for a whole week. So, you know, once you see the light and you get out of pain, then you know it's the right things. And so.
Yeah. And Dr. Jackson, at one point you said, like, you are the only person who said he would get better.
Yeah.
I want you to know, out of 38 people, medical people we saw, you're the only one who said, and you promised it.
Yeah. I know I always tell people I can get you better if you do what I say. Now it may be extreme and you may have to be persistent, but it's, you know, but now that's just what you have to remember. And, you know, from this testimony, it's not a forever thing. You don't have to take these things forever, just the healing process. And when we clean up the gut bugs, while we detox the liver, while we heal the gut, Carson was very depleted in minerals and healing nutrients. So, you know, and he was very reactive to a lot of foods he was eating. So, you know, you got to just peel back the different layers and put together the right plan. And we did it. And, you know, you did it, Carson. You're the one, and
Thank you.
Mom's help. Thank goodness you have a mom that believes in, you know, a different way. And it's, you know, it takes a lot for people to step out of that conventional medicine box and really look at diet and really like believe in the supplements and want to listen and actually do it. So I really commend y'all for doing it. And also thank you for taking the time to do this testimony, because this helps other people. So I really appreciate it.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. Well, y'all have a great day. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm sure I'll be talking to you here in the next couple weeks.
And he has basketball practice. So
going to basketball.
Who knows?
He's back playing. There's my athlete. All right. Well, send me some pictures.
All right.
Will do.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye.